Hi, Charlie Cushane here, doing another truck camper mod video. This one is a video about a spare tire carrier that I had to custom make for my truck. Now most people would ask, why do you need a spare tire carrier? Because the truck came with one. It was under the bed of the truck. It's standard. You just crank down the tire and you put it on. Well, that worked great for years and years when I had the standard 16-inch tires that came with the truck. However, 2 years ago, we went to the heavier duty 19.5 tires that are much bigger. And they're so big, they wouldn't fit in the standard tire carrier location between the rear wheels. So that was out for a solution. So I started looking for all different kinds of solutions as to where I could put a spare. The first place I thought of was maybe on the front bumper, but I already have my scooter there, so that really wasn't an option. The second place I looked was maybe putting it inside the back seat area. Maybe take the seats out and wheel the tire in. But I didn't want to lose that storage area, and I didn't want to smell the tire all the time. So the third option I thought of was potentially putting it on the roof. The big problem with that is these bigger tires are very heavy. They're like 150 to 200 pounds a piece. And for me, putting it up there would be a challenge, and especially if it was in a breakdown situation on the side of a road, getting it down, and that really wasn't going to work long term. So I ultimately came up with a custom solution that goes into my back receiver. I had to make it custom because I didn't want to have, with the 4-foot overhang in my camper, I didn't want to have a 4-foot extension plus my tire sticking way out. So I fitted it under the back of the camper, and that's what I'll show you now. Okay, what you see here is the spare tire all mounted to the receiver of the truck. And as you can see, I've made it so that it mounts with about a 1/2 inch of clearance between the top of the tire and the bottom of the camper. The reason I did that was I want to still allow the camper to move front and back when it's on the bed without hitting this. And also, I want to be able to load and unload the camper with this on. I could just lift the camper up and drive off. This can stay right there. It's not a problem. So let me show you how I did it from the inside, okay? So as you can see, there's a slight 1/2 inch clearance between the bottom of my camper and the top of the tire, so that, like I say, there'll be extra movement allowed. And how did I accomplish that? I ended up getting a 4-inch drop-down receiver and put it in my existing hitch, and then I made this carrier. What it is a piece of 2x2 aluminum, 1/4 inch wall, and there's 3 pieces that get bolted together to form a platform. Then the tire rim sits on it, and it gets bolted right through the lug nut holes on the inside with some big nuts that I'll show in a future picture. And then I put a cover on it, and this is how the whole thing works. Now, to get this tire down, whether the camper's on or not, I just pulled this pin, the regular trailer pin. I loosen my anti-rattle bracket, and this just slides right out, and it stays low to the ground. I don't have to lift it high, and it stays out of the way, and it's high enough. The ground clearance is high enough that this never rubs on the ground. So that has really worked out well, and it's the one way I've been able to satisfy carrying a tire, and it doesn't take up any extra space, and it's easy to put on, easy to take off, and so far it's been great. So that's my story.